Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Caprill. Hey, I wanted to share with you something I started doing recently that it's kind of almost life-changing in a way. If, as you may know, I'm a bit of a dog lover. I mean, big time dog lover. I have cups in my house that friends have given me that say I like dogs more than people. I like people. Love, love, love dogs. If I had my way, I'd have at least three, maybe four. But I don't have my way. I have one, and Wes has one, and I'm in Cincinnati right now, actually Covington, Kentucky, where I live half the time. And Wes lives right across the alley. He bought a house right there. So between my dog, who is Hank, and his dog, who is Tank, I kind of have two. In fact, right now, I had both of them here, and I took them over to Wes's so I could do this with you so that they wouldn't get out of control. All right. But if I had my way, I would have more. Well, I discovered a way to kind of have my cake and eat it too. Now, if you're a pet lover, particularly if you're a dog lover, you might you might like this. All right. Near my home in Franklin, Tennessee, is a wonderful animal shelter called the Williamson County Animal Center. It's a no-kill animal shelter. It's a beautiful facility, and they do amazing work there with not only taking care of dogs and cats, but helping them to find permanent homes. I went over there one day because they were looking for foster parents over the holidays. And I asked them if I could, instead of fostering one, if I could, on a regular basis, bring one over to the house to play with Hank, kind of like a field day, a field trip day, if you will. And they were like, yeah, that's great. You get him out of the house, you socialize him with other dogs. Perfect. Now, I had another motive in mind, and that is that I knew people who were interested in getting another dog, or at least they were kind of thinking about it. They'd lost their dog. And when you lose a dog, I will tell you from a lot of experience, it's painful. The easiest way to ease that pain is to get another dog because love is the greatest cure of all. Doesn't mean you don't love your old dog anymore. I love little Gunner. I get his pictures on my Facebook, 10 years ago today. And, I don't get sad. I do miss him, but I love Hank, and Hank helps fill that void. So it's not like I'm replacing them, okay? But I do feel that love is a tremendous way to replace pain. So what I've done is I bring these dogs to the house one at a time. I have them spend the day with Hank. It allows me to get a feel for if they are a good fit for the people who I have in mind. And then I introduce them to those dogs if they're willing to. Now, sometimes I find dogs that are so wonderful that before the friends that I want to adopt them get a chance, they're already been adopted by somebody else. It's interesting because the shelter tells me, they'll ask me, do you want us to hold this dog? I said, no, absolutely not. Right. If somebody else wants to adopt this and the person that I'm trying to encourage is a little slow in the jump, do not hold that dog. Okay. We'll find that dog a great home. But here's an interesting one that happened. This happened over the holidays, and this is the one I want to share with you. There's a couple that I know. Their daughter is my workout trainer, and they live in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, Lexington is almost on the way from Nashville to Cincinnati. And so they had been, well, her mom, Linda, had been wanting a dog for some time, but her husband, Art, was still heartbroken over the last one, which had died like 2 years ago. And he didn't want to go through that pain again. Well, I came across a dog who I just thought was perfect for them. Her name was Margot. Beautiful dog, mixed breed, probably about half pit bull. Most dogs in shelters are pit bulls, by the way. And one of my goals in doing this little hobby of mine is to try to encourage people to get over the misconception about pit bulls as being bad dogs. They're not. I mean, you could make one bad, sure. You could make a dachshund bad if you wanted to, or French bulldog bad if you really wanted to. But in any event, Margot, sweetest dog in the world. I mean, seriously, Hank's future was in jeopardy. Well, I brought her first to meet Hank, and that went well. Now, they did introduce Hank to her on neutral ground, and I had people there, and they said she might initially be a little aggressive with him. Well, Hank is a little bit of a stinker. French bulldogs like to agitate. He had no problems. Okay, I mean, you can a dog can take a nip at Hank, and he's just going to walk away. He's fine. He's a bulldog also, right? So they get along perfectly well. So I took her to see the couple in Lexington, and they loved her. Hard not to. She perfectly trained in the house, slept every night in her kennel without a peep. No accidents, gentle, loving. And then came Christmas. On Christmas Day, their daughter, Kim, my workout trainer, brought her two dogs over to the house. Now, I knew that it was very important that Margot get along well with Kim's two dogs because Kim is over there a lot. She brings her dogs a lot. She has no children, and those dogs are like grand dogs. So I knew that it was very important for Margot to get along well with those two Shelties. She didn't at all. In fact, she got a little nasty to the point where they realized this was not going to work. So I get the call on Christmas, and I say, okay, if they can keep her for a couple more days, I will come get her and I'll bring her back to Franklin, Tennessee. Now, I have to tell you, that was the hardest thing I ever did. I mean, it was almost like taking a child away from the people that he thought were his parents. And then they did a DNA test and found out, no, you got switched in the hospital. That's happened, as I'm sure you're aware. So it was a very sad moment. They cried. I cried. Margot was not happy. Got her in the car, brought her back. And I told Kim that I never wanted to talk about this. It was that painful. I said, I have done far more damage than good here. The pain that I've inflicted on them, unknowingly, of course, but they'll never want a dog now, I said, because they've like lost another one. And she said, okay, fine. We'll never talk about this. Now, a couple of weeks later, I'm back in Cincinnati and I get a text. And the text is from the Williamson County Animal Center to let me know that Margot had been adopted. Now, I was thrilled about that because if someone didn't take her by the end of this month, being January, I was going to take her. And Beth was not going to be on board about it. I don't know how we would have worked it out. Pulled every marker that I possibly have. In any event, she found a home. That was great. I was very upbeat about that. So I go to the gym the next day and I see Kim. And I mentioned it to her. First time I brought it up now in at least a couple of weeks. I mean, because I said, let's not even talk about this. And after I told her, she said, well, now I want to tell you something. I know that you thought this experience would damage my parents and they would never want to adopt a dog. The opposite was true. You lit a fire in them. And a couple of days after Margot left, they went to the animal shelter and they got a dog who really needed them. This dog, a little over a year old, clearly had been abused, needed love so bad. Margot, great dog, never been abused. She was, I don't know what her history was. Usually they just find them as strays, but she'd never been abused. This one clearly had. And this one was a golden doodle, perfect temperament for them. And they just met, instantly fell in love with her. And I thought, so wait a second. So now two dogs just got adopted instead of one. She's like, yeah, God does work in mysterious ways, people. So I just wanted to share that story with you. One, I want to encourage you that if you like dogs, but you're not quite ready to have another one, think about fostering one or do what I do. Have a field day with them. Get to know them. If you have friends who might be interested in a dog, be that person who introduces them. When my mom's dog passes, which sadly is going to be soon, this is how I will get her next dog. and I will, break it in, so to speak, and then bring it over. But these animal centers do a great job, and I just want to encourage you that if you have an interest in that, don't be shy. Go over there. At the very least, if you have free time, you want to volunteer to walk a dog. It's a great thing to do as well. All right. Have a great month. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.